So a lease option agreement, what is it? It's the option to buy something, but not the obligation to buy. So just like the hire purchase of a car, you pay a small upfront payment on the car to get the keys to drive that car. Then you pay a monthly payment every month to keep the keys, allowing you to drive the car. And then at the end, you've got a choice. You can either give the car back or you can exercise your option to buy. It's the very same thing with a house. You pay a small upfront payment, as little as £1, to get the keys of the properties. You then make the monthly payments, the mortgage payments. And then at the end of the agreement, you've got the final balloon payment, the outstanding mortgage balance. Now, depending on the equity, you'll work out as well when you'll pay them that equity bit. A little bit up front, maybe a little bit during the contract, and the remainder at the end. Giving you the keys today, the control of the property today, the cash flow today, and the long-term legacy bit later. So lease option agreements are a phenomenal way to build a portfolio of properties quickly without needing to take out your own mortgages, without needing 25% deposits. If you've got bad credit, lease option agreements are the way to go. So the agent approached my business partner, Anna, about this portfolio. They said, we've got this landlord who was on our books. They've got a portfolio of properties. They're looking to sell the portfolio. Would you be interested? So I said to Anna, let's arrange a meeting, then get all parties together in one room. But before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Okay, so let's grab Anna. Let's have a chat before the meeting. Talk to me, get me up to speed on this.
They started with 2 properties and they're increasing the portfolio to 7.
Yeah.
Currently, they've got 6 properties.
But so she doesn't need to sell them?
She doesn't need to sell them.
Are they all tenanted?
They all tenanted and they all have got good yield.
Right, so what's the rents?
525.
Yeah.
495.
Yeah.
595.
Yeah.
750.
Yeah.
And 550.
Well, you got 5 of them.
Oh,
cool.
5 of them. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Of the ones you know, has she got an idea what she wants for the houses?
Yes.
What's that?
The first one, she wants something around 130.
4.8% yield. It looks like her rents are on the low side, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll help. The lady's had property since 2000s. So what does that mean? She's probably got quite a bit of equity, but what's likely happened to get to 7 houses is she's refinanced them to buy more. So we don't know what her mortgage would be, and I'd really be guessing, because it doesn't really matter how long she's owned them. She's likely bought, let it go up in value, pulled money out, bought another one, let it go up in value, pulled money out, got another one. So her mortgages could actually be quite high, especially if she bought most of them between 2000 and 2007. Because if she did, and she got 100% mortgages, or even worse, 110, 120, 125% mortgages, she might actually be in negative equity. So we've got to find out what that mortgage is, because it could be loads of equity, but it might actually be negative equity. Rents-wise, the rents are low. So she's put long-term tenants, which is great, but the rents are low compared to what we're getting for properties in those streets at the moment. So there's room to push the rents up. Now, you do not mention that in a negotiation that you're planning to put the rents up, that there's room to put the rents up. If you do that, what's happening is you're increasing the price you're going to have to pay for the property. In terms of her prices at the moment, $29.15 per calendar month if you combine those 5. Now, there's 2 others as well, so that number will change. But $29.15 per calendar month for all 5, that gives $34,980 a year rental income. But adding the 5 purchase prices of what she wants, her want price, not her need price, not her agreed price, her want price, which is kind of irrelevant, it's just a smart starting point, that's 645 grand with the rents they're currently on, and what she wants, that would leave us at 5.2% yield. In this area, that's not enough for me. We want to be north of 6% somewhere. So we're actually not that far away to try and get to 6% or even higher. 600 grand, so 34980 divided by 600 grand, that would take us to 5.8%. 34980 divided by 580 grand, that will take us to 6.03%. So 580k, we're looking at taking 65 grand sort of off the price, but 65 grand across 5 houses, we're only taking 13 grand off each property to make this work. Now 13 grand off 185 grand property, That's not hard to achieve at all. So we're not that far away. Let's see what happens in the meeting. Okay, so I've had to change shirt and mic myself up because I can't really go into a viewing with a vendor and an estate agent wearing those crazy stripes. So I'm dressing somewhat normal. Normal? You might think not normal, but it's normal to me. This is normal to me. So there's loads of banks across the country shutting down at the moment. HSBC Bank there, that's shutting down soon. So we've got our eye on that as well, just to have a look, because that's new on the market. The whole high street's for sale. And this is one of the big advantages. The fact so many buildings are for sale. It's a buyer's market. I can choose any of them. I could take this one here. We could go for any of the ones up along the street. We could pick any one of these. The seller doesn't have many options because not many people are looking at commercial buildings. Only investors are really looking at commercial buildings. The smart investor knows you can agree your price. You can work out a really good price. You can agree lease options. You can agree exchange delayed completions because the sellers are struggling to get rid of their buildings. I'd say there hasn't been this many of these for sale in years.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going in here. I'll see you on the other side. I'm undercover. Hiya.
Right.
All right. Not bad. Kevin, how are things?
Good to meet you.
I didn't know a huge amount, just that obviously you've got 6 properties. I think you're looking potentially 8. Okay, 8. One of the challenges, what I do with a lot of people when they're selling properties is think about, obviously you want to sell them, but you need to try and sell them in the most tax efficient way as well. And there's 2 ways that I can buy property. One is we can go in and try and buy it based on the current yield. And make an offer that would work for us, but that offer wouldn't necessarily be as high as you might want, which is no point me like I wouldn't want to make an offer and then you go, geez, that's a waste of time. Yeah. But at the same time, I always look at something and then go, okay, how can we get the best possible deal to help the seller? And one of your big challenges selling this, and it's the challenge anybody has as to build a portfolio, is when you go to sell your properties, you're hit with a massive capital gains tax bill for selling them all off.
Would you be prepared to buy them without a tenant so they could achieve a higher price for the property?
But what we could do is either agree those prices now and then take on all of the payments, the maintenance, the voids, etc. So you
effectively be the landlord.
The landlord, yeah. You get your freedom. And then every 12 months, we'd complete the purchase of one, and you've almost got a lump sum every year then. What if we were to go away and come back to you with two proposals, one of a buy now proposal and one of a buy over time proposal? Would that be something you'd still consider?
I think we're open to, we are exploring the options. So
yeah.
We are open to suggestions, really.
Right.
So if you could come up with the 2
options
first for the prices,
yeah,
and then I think you guys decide, it's worth progressing to viewings,
yeah,
etc. Because you're valuing it on a yield basis, aren't you?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, which is like
they're going to be of a standard.
Have they all got mortgages on them as well and stuff? Are they? But I guess mine all do. It's like
they have.
Yeah, you could do on an option agreement. You could take on your mortgages and literally make those payments for you, and then so we'd agree. You sign a legal contract with a solicitor. If you buy a property, you go from, we agree a price now, you go to exchange and then you complete. All you're doing is taking it to the day before exchange. So you're doing all the searches and the valuations, you're doing the contract, and then you're just delaying the exchange until next year and the exchange on the next one until the next year. Yeah. So you're doing all the same.
You produce the pack.
The pack's done, all the legal side's done.
Where we're talking about you take over the voids, the maintenance.
Yeah. We could agree I could take over everything. So we'd take on the mortgages, the voids, the maintenance. If we were to do that, we'd need to know what the mortgages were. But in terms of, because you say we've got a 130 grand house, but I took a mortgage at 130% of the value in 2007 when you could. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, I just took on a 175 grand mortgage. You probably owe 25 grand based on the handbag. But I mean, if the mortgages are, if you owed, Irish humour, if you owed 800 grand, it'd be like 200 grand. We could even work out how could get you that 200 grand, the equity bit. Yeah. So we take on the debt bit, you get the equity bit basically.
Yeah. I wasn't particularly thinking of you taking the mortgage. the mortgages on. It was more about
Yeah.
the maintenance
Yeah.
and the,
Yeah.
the day-to-day.
Literally whatever. In terms of you want to say, look, we want to be, that's it, we're done. We could do that.
How often do you do that, Kevin?
Me regularly.
Quite a regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote a whole book on it.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw.
Oh, you saw my book? All right. Oh, okay.
I looked you up.
All right. Yeah. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
All right.
So yes, do you want to work on
Thanks.
some
Yeah,
figures?
if you want to.
Yeah, can do. Appreciate you coming in to chat to us. I've got a bigger picture now of what of stuff, which is helpful. So we've just come out of the meeting. We thought they had a portfolio of 6 properties. They've actually got 8 properties. They're looking to sell them. They've obviously got them in their personal name. They were considering moving them into a limited company or moving them into the partner's name, which means only one of them clearly has the properties in their name. So they're in her name, and they've got £1 million portfolio, probably about 700 grand of mortgage debt. So they've got around 300 grand of equity, let's say 300k equity. Get them on an option, and I've mentioned the option. They're open to the idea. They want me to put an offer forward. I've even mentioned taking on the mortgages and paying the mortgage. She wasn't against that either. She's open to the idea. So what was also really interesting is the lady in the office said, have you done many of these lease option agreements? So obviously I said I have. I didn't just do some, I even wrote a book about it. The lady selling the property says, I know, I've read it, or I've got it. I've checked you out. So we've got the rapport, she's checked me out. The lady selling the properties knows I've written the No Money Down book. She's checked me out, so we've already got that sort of credibility. And that's one of the really important things about being trained as well. Because if you're trained, if you've been around the right people, if you've got links to like companies like Progressive, like myself, if somebody checks you out and you're on your own, then you're unlikely, or it's a lot tougher to try and get a deal done. But if you're linked to the right people, you got the right connections, then you got a much bigger opportunity to have that credibility, borrowed credibility, to position yourself as the expert. So we're back in the office. This is perfect scenario for a lease option agreement. They've basically said, go away, propose us a buy now offer and a buy later offer, and we'll decide which one we will take. Now, my buy now offer is going to be 25% below market value, so even if they say yes to it, we still win. And my buy later price, that will be the option agreement price. I've even spoke about taking on the maintenance, the management, the voids, and the mortgages. And she said, oh, I hadn't even considered the mortgages. That really lit her up as well when I mentioned taking on the mortgages, because she doesn't want the hassle of dealing with lenders over the next few years. So taking all of that on an option agreement just means they can go to Spain, move on with their lives, no more stress, no more pressure, enjoy the sunshine, and they know they can do that and not have a huge tax bill. So if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.